Namaste. Dear friends, I am back with you for the second part of my win over cancer. This is the second video of that. The first video I had told you about how I got cancer for the first time when the cure rate was 90%. The second time I got cancer, I went for a bone marrow transplant in the United States, and again the cure rate was great since they had changed all the cells. The third time when I got cancer, they gave me maximum 1 month to live in India. Even when I went to the United States for research treatment when I got cancer for the third time, they said the maximum life I can have is about a year, and that was also on the upper side. So the cure rate was not even 1%, even according to the doctors in the United States. So coming back to India, after my treatment in the United States, when I had got cancer for the third time, I decided to opt for pranayama. Now, as again I have mentioned that the cure rate was not even 1% when I got cancer for the third time. Pranayama was the only recourse to me. As I mentioned in my earlier DVD part 1 of Win Over Cancer, that I used to practice law prior to getting cancer. And while I used to practice law, I was just fond of yoga and naturopathy. And for that reason, as a matter of hobby, I had done a diploma in yoga and naturopathy from Lal Bahadur Shastri University at New Delhi. I had got a gold medal in the university. So now, since coming back from the United States, and knowing very well in my mind that the cure rate of my cancer is not even 1%, and that the maximum life I had, according to the doctors in the United States, was just about 1 year, so I decided to extend my knowledge of pranayama, what I had learned in my course. Initially, I made a set of 5 pranayamas for myself and started practicing them about 15 minutes in the morning and 15 in the evening. As the days passed, I found myself doing better and better. However, I thought that those 5 pranayamas were not suffice for me. I definitely wanted to keep cancer away from me. I included another 5 pranayamas in my earlier set and made a set of 10 pranayamas for myself thereafter. I practiced them for about 15 days, half hour morning and half hour evening, and found myself doing better. However, I was well aware of my position. I had already suffered from cancer 3 times, and I very well knew the doctors had given me maximum 1 year to live. The normal chemotherapies had earlier failed in me in 1999. Even the bone marrow transplant had failed in me in the year 2000, which I had at UCI Medical Center at California. Now, even the research drug treatment, what I had at USC in the year 2004, the doctors in the US had maximum given me 1 year to live. So the cure rate was not even 1% what I had. I definitely wanted to live. I had full faith in God. And I very well knew that pranayama could give me a new life. So practicing those 10 pranayamas for about 15-20 days, I thought to myself that, well, I must incorporate certain more breathing exercises into my daily routine. And that made me add another 5 pranayamas to my daily practice. So ultimately, in the year 2004, I made a set of 15 pranayamas for myself and named them as Mind, Body, Soul Pranayama Set. These pranayamas are 15 in number, and they have all the essential ingredients of breathing in them, including forceful exhalation, which is called Kapalbhati, internal retention, deep exhalation, deep external retention, proper use of diaphragm and lungs, proper abdominal movement, proper movement of the shoulders, and more importantly, the right ratios which have to be followed. Remember, pranayama is a complete science in itself. It is based on 4 ingredients or 4 pillars, namely inhalation, internal retention, exhalation, and external retention. And there is a proper ratio what you have to keep in your mind while you're doing a pranayama. So you got to remember that you're following the correct ratio between these 4 ingredients. Only then you're going to get the desired results. So I finally made a set of 15 pranayamas for myself and named them as Mind, Body, Soul Pranayama Set. Now I was very regular with these pranayamas, what I formulated for myself. I used to practice them without fail. 45 minutes in the morning and 45 minutes in the evening. Slowly, time passed by. As days passed, I found myself doing better and better. I could see my diet was improving. My energy levels were also going up, up, up. And that made me really feel very happy. I could also see that I am feeling better from inside. I could feel really nice. My immunity had gone up, my diet had gone up, my weight had started rising. So there was a feeler from inside that things were going good. Slowly time passed by, and I went to the doctor back at USC, University of Southern California, for a follow-up checkup after 6 months. The doctors in the US were quite surprised to see me. They said, "Mr. Wig, you're still there. We didn't think so." I said, "Yes, doc, I'm there in front of you, and you can get all the tests done." The doctors they did all the tests on me, including the CT PET, the CT, the gallium, the pulmonary function test, and so on. And the test showed one thing very clear in black and white, that there is no cancer present in the body. The lung functioning test further suggested that both the lungs are working a very good 100%. Now just to mention here, when I left the US after the treatment, the right lung was just working about 20%. This was because of the fibroids which I had in the right lung. But right now, both the lungs were working a good 100%. The doctors were quite surprised. He said, "Mr. Wig, have you been up to something? Have you been up to something? You've been doing some Ayurveda or homeopathy or some sort of Tibetan stuff?" I said, "No, doc, I've just been doing pranayama and nothing else." So that was really something quite amazing for doctors in the US also. Well, the doctor said, well, you're doing good, Mr. Wig. And if you're still there, you can come back to me for a follow-up checkup after 6 months. So I knew that the doctor didn't have so much of faith in pranayama, but yes, he at least realized there's something good in this science. So coming back down to India, I again was quite regular with my set of mind, body, soul pranayamas. As I earlier told you, there are 15 in number. I used to practice them about 45 minutes morning and 45 evening, and I never missed a single day of my pranayama practice. Dear friends, I might like to tell you once again that skipping a day of your pranayama practice amounts to skipping a week. So no matter how busy, how involved, how occupied you are, never ever miss a single day of your pranayama practice. So I was again quite regular with my pranayama practice, and thereafter again went back to the doctor after 6 months. And he was again quite surprised to see me as usual, and he said, Mr. Wig, you seem to be doing good. I said, yes, doc, I'm right in front of you. So he again got all the tests done, and the test again showed quite clear in black and white that there was no cancer present in the body. The doctor was quite happy to see me. He congratulated me and said, it seemed the cancer wouldn't come back on you now because you're over 1 year now. He again reiterated that keep on doing whatever you're doing, because whatever you're doing is working wonders in you. I said, doc, the answer is just pranayama. I do pranayama and nothing else. So I came down back to India and again was quite regular with my pranayama. Now, since I had left law, as I earlier did tell you that I used to practice law before getting cancer, now I had completely left law and I was totally into pranayama. So I thought, well, I must do something more also. So I started writing my first book. I said, wow, let me write a book now on my journey, spiritual journey, and how pranayama has helped me to get out of cancer. So I came out with my first book, and that was this one, called Win Over Cancer. This is the book I came out with. I also came out with a Hindi edition of the same book, and I named it as Cancercure. This is the one right in front of you. And I started taking these counseling sessions on cancer, these individual classes on cancer. I also added food therapy and meditation into my individual classes, what I offer to people right here in India, in New Delhi. So these classes are like a 1-hour class where I used to talk about pranayama, meditation and food therapy to my clients. So I started taking these individual classes and the response was really great. That's a good thing. Ultimately, I came out with another good book of mine, and I still remember that is called Happiness Lies in Your Attitude, right here in front of you. So there were a series of books I started coming out with then because I found myself doing good. So this is another good book I came out which is called Be Happy Every Day. Now I wanted my knowledge to go further and further to people, so I studied more and more on pranayama, and I finally came out with a book called The Miracles of Pranayama, right here in front of you. That was in the year 2009. And this book talks about 21 different pranayamas. This book talks about the 15 mind, body, soul pranayamas, the guidelines to pranayama, the safety precautions to be kept in mind. It also talks about advanced pranayama, and then it talks about diet, which is a very important part in our daily regimen. I also came out with a Hindi edition of this book, which is called Pranayam Ke Chamatkar. This is right in front of you. So as time passed by, I started taking workshops now also on the miracles of pranayama. A workshop on the miracle of pranayama is of 2 parts. Part 1 and part 2, and each part is of 2 hours. Now I also take these workshops in India and abroad on the miracles of pranayama. All the 15 pranayamas what I have been doing and what I still do, I take these in my workshops. So in the workshop on the miracles of pranayama, I cover all these 15 pranayamas. Now I'd like to mention here, even in my book called The Miracles of Pranayama, I've given a separate heading called the Guidelines to Pranayama, which is very important. I'd like to share with all of you, my friends, that it's very important to keep the guidelines in mind. Like having faith in your practice is a must. Doing it correctly is the must. Now you got to remember, friends, here that pranayama is a complete science in itself. It's based on 4 pillars: inhalation, internal retention, exhalation, and external retention. And there's a fixed ratio what you got to keep in your mind while following the 4 pillars. And the correct ratio is 1:4:2:4. That means inhalation, if that is to the count of 4, internal retention is to the count of 16, exhalation is to the count of 8, and external retention again to the count of 16. Friends, I'd like to mention here one thing more, that safety precautions is a very important thing while you're doing your pranayama. There are many pranayamas what heart patients, high blood pressure patients, and asthmatic patients cannot do. So you should exactly know which pranayama you should do and which you should not. Now I started taking these individual classes on pranayama, and people from all walks of life having different problems, they started coming to me. For example, patients with asthma, cancer, diabetes, heart problems, high BP, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and so on and so forth. And let me tell you one thing more very clearly over here, that if 4 different patients come to me, let me take for example a patient with heart problem coming to me, a patient with cancer, a patient with diabetes, and a patient with asthma, I might tell each one of them 5 different types of pranayama. So here's the point you got to keep in your mind, that all pranayamas are not meant for all people. Therefore, the bottom line is, the important thing to be kept in mind is, you have to do the pranayamas which are important for your ailment. Like a patient with heart problem will be advised 5 different types of pranayama. A patient with cancer with 5 different types, a patient with diabetes with 5 different, and a patient with asthma with 5 different. So you do the pranayamas which are important to be done for you. For your good health, it is important to do the correct pranayamas. Now I want to mention one thing more here, that it is very important to do your pranayama under the supervision of a yoga guru or a yoga therapist who knows the line well. Because doing incorrectly will not give you the desired results. Many a time I see people coming to me and telling me, Mr. Wig, I've been doing Anulom Vilom. I say, how are you doing? And he says, well, I'm taking in from one nostril and taking out from the other, taking in from that and taking out from the first. And when I ask them, which ratios are you following? What ratio are you inhaling and exhaling? He says, well, I'm following no ratios. And my answer to that is that you'll never get the results. So it's very important to you for you to follow the correct ratios of pranayama if you want to get the desired results. Now coming back to my story, I was very regular with my pranayama practice, and slowly years passed by. And as years passed by, I felt better and better. Finally, I went again to my doctor, and ultimately after 5 years, the doctors in the US also said, Mr. Wig, you're cured. You don't need to come to us anymore. You've been coming here a lot. And whatever you've been doing, that has given you miraculous results. Now, I'd like to mention, your friends, again, that pranayama is a complete science in itself. The first time I got cancer, I was treated with ABVD regimen in India, the chemotherapies, and they said the cure rate is 90%. The second time I had a transplant in the United States at UCI Medical Center, they again told me that you got a huge cure rate. The third time when I was treated with research drugs in the US, the cure rate was not even 1%. But here, right now I'm in front of you after about 10 years of my cancer treatment. It's more than 9 years now. So, pranayama helped me to get out of cancer when all medical therapies failed. You got to remember here, friends, that pranayama is a complete science in itself. It rejuvenates the cells of the body. It releases the toxins out from our cells. And it completely heals you from inside. It's a complete healing science in itself, provided you're very regular with your practice and you're doing it correctly. Just to mention here now I've been taking counseling sessions since many years now, and I still take individual classes on the miracles of pranayama. Though now I've also added meditation and food therapy to my classes because I realize that they are also important. Recently, I also came out with a couple of new books of mine, which I want to share with you friends here. This is called one, The Joy of Meditation. There's another one, very nice book of mine, which is called Pranayama to Beat Stress. It's a very good book. Another book which I came out for teenager friends of mine, that is Pranayama for Teenagers. I have seen people right from childhood, from school, if they do play pranayamas regularly, they will never get these chronic and degenerative diseases like cancer, heart problems, high BP, Alzheimer's. So it's very important right from childhood to get into pranayama so that you start the rejuvenation process within you. Another very good book of mine, what I really love, is called Believe in Being a Winner. This says that you always gonna have a positive attitude towards life. You're always going to live positively and have a positive attitude towards life. Another very good book of mine is The Secrets of Happiness, which says that you can be happy all where you stand. All you got to do is to change your attitude towards life. Another very good book what I'd like to share again is called Secrets of Good Health, which talks about all the important ingredients of good health. Presently, I'm completely healthy and I'm living a healthy life. And I give all that credit to pranayama. So friends, you got to remember that you got to have faith in God and do your pranayama regularly. And remember, pranayama is a complete science in itself. It's a miraculous science. No matter which ailment you're suffering from, no matter which disease you're suffering from, pranayama will definitely help you to heal yourself. You can cite my example. When all medical therapies failed on me, pranayama got me a new life. You can personally contact me also. You can visit my Facebook page, that is facebook.com/themiraclesofpranayama. I'll repeat the address for you friends. The address is facebook.com/themiraclesofpranayama. You can visit my website, and that is pranayama.co.in. I'll again repeat that. That is pranayama.co.in. You can also email to me, and that is at yogaenjoyment@gmail.com. yogaenjoyment@gmail.com. I'm personally open to talk to you also. You can personally give me a call at my personal number, and that is +91, that is the code for India. The cell number is 9910178140. I'll again repeat that for you friends. The code for India is +91 9910178140. Friends, I wish you all a healthy and happy life. Be peaceful and be happy. Namaste. Thank you.